Hello and welcome to this simple walkthrough tutorial where we will introduce the portal by walking through a simple pension transfer case. To begin, we click Add New Case at the top and start by entering the client's details. For this case, I'm just going to add some test data. The 19th of July 1978 and a dummy national insurance number. The date of birth and national insurance number are both mandatory, as is the house number and name and the client's first line of the address and postcode. We then come on to choose the advisor from the drop down menu up here, and this brings us on to the letter of authority. Now, we only need you to upload a signed letter of authority if you want us to use it for data gathering on your behalf. If, however, you already hold authority with the existing plans providers, then just tick this box instead. Moving on, we have the additional questions here. These are configurable to ensure that we gather all the information that we need for your suitability report. We're also invited to provide any additional information specific to the client. This could include things such as the client's state of health, nationality, or any expected changes in employment, or indeed anything that's relevant to the client's current circumstances. Under existing plans to review, we should add any pensions, protections or investments that are currently held by the client and are going to feature in the recommendations report. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to use a Standard Life Group Personal Pension Plan with a dummy plan number, and we'll ultimately review and transfer this to a new pension. Note the options on the right hand side here that appear for pensions. If this particular plan is already in drawdown, either in capped drawdown, flexi access drawdown or just partially crystallised, we would tick this box. Similarly, if the client is looking to take retirement benefits from this plan, then we would tick this box. I'm going to leave these unchecked for now, but there are other tutorial videos available that demonstrate how to enter recommendations for clients taking benefits. Finally, we have the objectives and priorities section, where we're invited to provide a summary of the client's general financial planning objectives for the report. This is not mandatory, but of course the more information that you provide here, the more we can include in your report. Moving on, we click Next to go to the full details and documents page. You can see the client details on the left hand side and the client's investment profile on the right, including the attitude to risk and current employment status. While a valid attitude to risk is required, none of the income or expenditure fields are actually mandatory, although if these aren't provided, then some of the points in the report will be highlighted so that missing information can be added. For the purposes of this test, I'm just going to do a moderate attitude to risk and enter the client as self-employed. Again, we have here some additional questions. As with the previous page, these are configurable, and in this instance we've just got the one. And then we come on to the case documents. Now, the right hand side here shows the case documents checklist. The labels on the left indicate what type of information that we need for each of the existing plans, and the ticks and crosses on the right hand side indicate whether a requirement has been satisfied or not. To add a document, we just click Add here and choose the file to upload. Once the file's been selected, we can then begin to add the labels to indicate what kind of information is held within this file. You can add multiple labels to any document. We also need to select the plan to which it relates, even for cases where there is just one plan. So here I'll click the Standard Life GPP plan and choose Save. You'll notice that this has updated the requirement documents checklist on the right hand side to indicate that the valuation and the fund breakdown have both been added. I can add further documents to satisfy the remaining requirements. And again, one more document which just contains the charges and plan information, such as the regulars and any guarantees. Once all the items in the required document checklist have been satisfied, we can then move on. Notice here we've also got the objectives and priorities section and additional client notes repeated from the previous page. This is just for convenience in case you wish to add anything at this point. Moving forward, we then have the fees and recommendations section. First thing we must do is select the advice to give, and we're going to transfer the existing plan to a new scheme. We're then invited to enter the new provider and the new plan type. And for the purposes of this example, I'm going to use a Prudential Personal Pension Plan. I'll also just click the transfers in here just to ensure that the standard life plan that we're looking to send is selected. Under recommended holdings, we're invited to choose how the funds are going to be invested in the new arrangements. For this, I'll just select a simple managed fund for 100% of the holdings. Under contributions and withdrawals, we can double click this to choose whether to continue with existing regulars in the new arrangements or to cease them. For absolute clarity, it's often easier to leave this as the default of cease and just add in any contributions that you want to see. You can enter gross employee contributions, net employee contributions, or contributions from the employer. Then press enter to commit. Under advisor remuneration, you can enter the fees and charges that are being taken from any of the plans or those that are being paid directly. For this example, we'll just demonstrate an implementation fee of £500 to be paid directly and an ongoing services fee of 0.5% per annum to be taken from the Prudential Personal Pension Plan. On the right hand side, we have here just the investment profile for the client again, in order to ratify any of the information that we've entered in previous screens and to answer any other additional questions that may relate to the recommended new arrangements. Finally, we have additional information here, including the date required when we want the case to be returned and any advice notes that also may pertain to the recommendations. This is a good opportunity to clarify which of the managed funds that we want to, so I'm going to suggest that this is PruFund Growth Series E. At this point, we're now ready to submit the case to Paraplanning. You'll see that our case has been created and added and has gone into the submitted state. The submitted status indicates that the case is ready to be worked on, and you'll be notified of any status changes as work progresses.